A lot of people believe that once you become an adult, then it's basically over for your brain. And honestly, this would be pretty depressing, especially for someone like me who decided to study medicine, something that takes 10 years to complete. But here's the good news. Modern neuroscience shows that adult brain can absolutely change. You can learn new skills, build new circuits, and literally rewire your brain. The process is called neuroplasticity. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down how neuroplasticity actually works in adults, why attention is basically the currency of learning, and the role of a powerful brain chemical called acetylcholine, and why things like exercise and sleep can dramatically increase your brain's ability to learn. So basically, how to make your brain stronger and enhance the process of learning. Chapter 1. Why kids learn faster and why that changes. When we are children, the brain is very plastic. Neuroscientists call this critical periods. During these windows, the brain is basically saying, okay, whatever the environment throws at me, I will adapt. That is why kids can pick up languages incredibly fast, learn instruments pretty quickly, and copy movements easily. Their brain circuits are still being built. By early adulthood, most of those large-scale maps are already in place. Things like sensory maps in the cortex, motor control circuits, and language networks. Those systems are mostly established by your early 20s. But, and this is the key point, they are not locked. Your brain can still change. And this is super fascinating to talk about because not a lot of people realize this. Your brain can still change. It just becomes more selective about when it does it. Chapter 2. The two conditions your brain needs to learn. In adulthood, neuroplasticity does not happen automatically. Your brain basically asks two questions before it decides to rewire itself. Question 1. Is this important? This is controlled by systems in the brain that regulate alertness. And there's two major players here. So we have the locus coeruleus, which is something that releases norepinephrine, and then we have the basal forebrain, which releases acetylcholine. These chemicals, in simple terms, helps the brain decide what information actually matters. So if you're sleepy or not paying attention, your brain is not really interested in rewiring itself, which is why sleep is very important, and it's something that I'm going to talk about later in this video. The second question your brain asks is, are you actually trying? And this is where attention comes in. Passive exposure is not enough for adult learning. And you've probably tried this many times. Like, you try to do something while something is happening in the background. You can't really concentrate. And this is why when you are focused and doing a deep work session, it works. While if you're doing an activity and you're distracted, you don't get a lot of benefits out of it. Chapter 3. Why struggling is actually a good sign. One of the most misunderstood parts of learning is the role of difficulty. People often think that if this feels hard, maybe I'm just bad at it. Maybe I just don't get it. But from a neuroscience perspective, that feeling of difficulty is actually important. When you attempt something and make mistakes, the brain detects a prediction error. This means that your brain expected one outcome and get another. And those signals drive adjustments in neural circuits. So in other words, mistakes are actually something good. Because if you never struggle, your brain often does not see a reason to change. Chapter 4. The brain chemical that helps learning. Let's talk about one of the key molecules involved in attention and learning, acetylcholine. It's released from the region of the brain called nucleus basalis, and when it floods parts of the cortex, many things happen. Your sensory signals become sharper, irrelevant noise get suppressed, and synapses become more capable of changing. So basically, it enhances the process of neuroplasticity. Something that is very interesting is that there are some brain-boosting substances out there. An example of that is nicotine. Luckily, there's also a powerful non-drug way to boost learning that does not include highly addictive substances like nicotine. One of them involves the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve carries signals from the body to the brainstem. When vagal activity increases, it can indirectly activate areas like the locus coeruleus and the basal forebrain. And this is why vagus nerve stimulation has been used clinically to improve recovery in stroke patients. When stimulation is paired with rehab exercises, the brain can reorganize more effectively. Exercise. One of the best things that you can do for your brain is exercise. If there's one tool that reliably improves brain plasticity, It's exercise. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain, and it also increases the release of BDNF, which is a molecule called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And BDNF acts like a fertilizer for your neurons. It helps them form myelin sheets that will help them connect with each other better. And that is why after high intensity exercise or moderate weightlifting session, your brain enters a state where it feels sharper and clearer. And this means that if you want to learn something new, doing it right after exercise might actually help. What I've noticed myself is sometimes if I run too long or too fast, I will actually feel tired afterwards and my mind is not as sharp. However, if I train for 30 to 45 minutes, I feel the benefits of this effect. Another thing that is wonderful for your brain that you can start doing today is focusing on your sleep. During sleep, and especially REM, the brain replays patterns of activity from the day. And this replay makes neural connections stronger and makes memory more stable. It's one of the reasons you can practice something all day, sleep and wake up and noticeably be better at it. It's something that I've noticed myself, especially learning things like anatomy and neuroanatomy, because the effect of it is honestly detrimental for your learning. So if you want to improve your brain's ability to learn, neuroscience suggests a few key principles. Stay alert, try to get enough sleep, practice with focused attention, and just accept struggle as a part of learning. Your brain expects mistakes. Lastly, exercise. Use exercise to boost brain plasticity. So the adult brain might not be as effortlessly plastic as a child's brain, but it's still far more adaptable than most people realize. And if you understand how to work with it, you can keep getting better and learning for the rest of your life. So that was it for today's video. Like and subscribe and see you in the next one.